Good morning. It's that time of the month when we carry out a review of the strategic trends across South Asia, including Myanmar, and see what are the projections in the month ahead, that is in October. Firstly, coming on to India. India-China standoff in eastern Ladakh has continued apace during the month. However, on 21st of September, the senior commanders meeting was held in which the two corps commanders from both sides decided that there will be a standstill at the locations which are being held at present by both sides. No escalation, disengagement and de-escalation will be started as soon as possible. It is expected that in the month of October, disengagement negotiations will be finalized. At present, it is being envisaged whether this disengagement should be carried out from all the contact locations simultaneously or from each one by one. In that case, which side is going to pull back first. At the same time, there has been some concerns after some recent statements from the Chinese side, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that they would like to enforce the 1959 line of actual control, which was proposed by then Prime Minister Zhou Enlai to the Indian Prime Minister at that time, Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. In that situation, there is going to be a political flux, and there could be some impact on the disengagement and de-escalation. However, it is anticipated that this issue should be resolved and can be resolved politically and should not actually interfere with the disengagement process, which is important to be carried out before the winters. On the diplomatic front, multiple engagements were held across the board, internationally and regionally, to expand India's partnerships, particularly with reference to the Indo-Pacific region as well as across globally. The United Nations 75th General Assembly, which was held this year, saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi participating and emphasizing on a need for UN security reforms, council reforms. On the defense front, the Ministry of Defense has issued the defense acquisition procedure, emphasis being on Atmanirbhar Bharat or indigenization of and self-reliance in defense production. In Jammu and Kashmir, there were a number of incidents of violence triggered by the terrorists, and security forces carried out a number of security operations. In addition, we have an incident where the Indian Army has accepted that an encounter in the month of July had resulted in the possible killing of some innocents branded as terrorists. An investigation and inquiry has been completed and summary of evidence has been recorded, which is a welcome move. As far as Northeast is concerned, the Naga peace talks remain in the limbo, a Naga accord for which two sets are ongoing, one with the NSC and IM and the secondly with the NNPG or the other Naga groups. Hopefully some solution would be achieved in the coming months before end of the year. Naxals continue to carry out their violent activities, particularly this time targeting civilians whom they claim were informers. Now all attention will be on the elections in Bihar, where the first phase includes a number of areas which are under Naxal influence. It is expected that strong security presence will ensure that elections will pass through smoothly. Let's look at the other countries in South Asia. In Afghanistan, we find that the intra-Afghan negotiations have commenced on 12th of September. During the month thereafter, agenda-setting dialogue has been held. At the same time, violence remains high, and despite international community as well as the Afghan people appealing to the Taliban to come for a ceasefire, this has not been achieved so far. Bangladesh saw rising tensions with Myanmar, with alleging that the Myanmar troops had increased their presence in the border province of Rakhine State, as well as Myanmar Navy passing through some boats through the Naf River, which is the common boundary between the two sides. It is expected that some resolution will be achieved through negotiations. At the same time, Bangladesh and India have held the joint consultative commission between the two foreign ministers and discussed a number of issues such as sharing of river waters, border killings and so on. In Bhutan, the overall increase in the number of COVID-19 cases has tapered off. Some strong action by the government as well as King Duk has ensured that not a single casualty has occurred so far. As far as Maldives is concerned, India-Maldives relations are reaching a new high, with India providing $250 million additional facilities to the Maldives government. A ferry service for cargo having been introduced recently, and of course India having allocated one Dornier aircraft for maritime surveillance to the Maldives National Defence Forces. This has had a backlash of sorts, with the opposition raising the India out proposal, claiming that India is trying to affect the sovereignty of the country. In Myanmar, elections campaigning has progressed very rapidly. However, the COVID-19 is creating certain impact, and it is believed that unless the COVID-19 is contained, the polls may get affected in the future. Nepal saw reconciliation between the two top leaders, co-chairs of the Nepal Communist Party, Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli and Mr. Prachanda or Pushpakamal Dahal, which should see the governance moving in a smoother direction. There was some dispute between the local government officials and the central government on encroachment by the Chinese on the border in Humla. It remains to be seen how this will be now resolved. In Pakistan, the Pakistan opposition joined together to hold an all-people parties conference on 20th of September. Thereafter, we had announcement of formation of the Pakistan Democratic Movement, which they say will be on the same lines as the Charter for Democracy, which saw ouster of dictators in the past. It remains to be seen how the situation is tackled, because the Pakistan army and the Pakistan government are hitting back. Some allege that they have recent arrests which have taken place, including of the PMLN president and leader of the opposition in the parliament, Mr. Shahbaz Sharif, directly linked to the developments related to the PDM. The army has also revealed that the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz had come forward requesting for an offer for negotiations with the PMLN Supremo, Mr. Nawaz Sharif, and his daughter Mariam Nawaz. Nawaz Sharif, of course, is presently in exile in London. The party has dismissed these and has laid down strict restrictions for interaction with the military on an informal or a formal way. In Sri Lanka, the 20th constitutional amendment is now gathering much pace as the government has introduced it in the parliament. There is stiff opposition from the civil society as well as the opposition parties, and the case is now resting with the Supreme Court. Let's see what happens in the month ahead. That's all we have for now. Thank you for listening.